Hello and welcome to this DCD talk coming to you from Eaton's Technology Summit for Data Centers and Energy in Madrid. I'm Emma Strutton, I'm Head of Channels at DCD, and it's a pleasure to be joined by Jim Mozell, who is the Senior Director for Strategic Partnerships for Gas Services at Siemens Energy. So thanks so much for joining me today, Jim. How are you?
Very good, and thank you very much, of course, for inviting me, and look forward to the conversation.
No, thanks so much for taking the time to join me. I suppose to start off, are you able to tell me a little bit more about you and your role at Siemens Energy?
Sure, so I've been with Siemens Energy for quite some time. Since last year, about April, I joined the collaboration with Eaton, where we were working on an integrated solution, powered to chip for the data center market. Of course, everybody knows the booming market that's happening today.
Yeah.
I specifically work on that and the sales function. So trying to, of course, get that out and understand the market and what it needs, and then try and sell it. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure lots of conversations around sort of the massively expanding data center market that we're seeing over the next couple of days. But I suppose bringing us back to kind of this talk, we're looking at technical foundations for on-site power generation. So I suppose what are the key technical building blocks for on-site generation in modern data centers that we're seeing at the moment, kind of particularly for AI?
Yeah, I would say you have to kind of look at it in two different ways. So right now, for sure, the market is focused on speed to power. So it's very important to sign and capture the demand that's out there. And the demand, of course, is much larger than the supply. And in that, the technical building blocks is simply just go and secure power. So the important piece is just go get that done. But the reality is what would be the key would actually to do it more in a microgrid. So look at, of course, the power generation, that if it's an on-site scenario, so primary power from on-site, into the data center, then you would, of course, build it out completely based on in this microgrid and supporting it. And the two key features, if you will, that you have to tackle is power availability and power quality. And naturally, when you build that out, you would do it in such a way as you look at what would be done in the data center, and then you would compensate the remaining portion in this microgrid, of course, on the on-site power. And on our side, one of the key pieces, of course, is topic of redundancy and efficiency, but there still could be some power quality topics that we could take care of, like with batteries or e-STATCOMs or things of that nature. Again, though, what's remaining from in the microgrid and what maybe, for example, from Eaton would be done inside the data center.
Yeah, and when it comes to power supply and resilience, what are the fundamental considerations, I suppose, when it comes to power design to ensure that this is stabilized?
Yeah, so maybe just building off again the idea of power availability and power quality. So resilience, certainly there's many things that could happen there, but if I just focus first on the generation side, you need to have enough power that's built there to also manage the things like maintenance. So there's always going to be, your scheduled maintenance, but of course there's also topics of unscheduled maintenance or trips. So you need enough power on site so that you can compensate for whenever those things pop up. And of course, within this microgrid I was describing, it would help, immediately recover anything that happens. On the power quality side, of course, as I mentioned, was the batteries and the e-STATCOMs, but again, it's just the remaining piece that hasn't already been managed inside of the data center. So those are the main key pieces.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you've sort of already touched on, the data center market is kind of rapidly expanding, rapidly changing industry. So what infrastructure decisions made today for on-site power do you think will matter the most in 5 years' time?
So again, right now, if you look at, I just mentioned, everybody's rushing, of course, speed to power. So a lot of it is wrapped around this power scarcity. So what's happening today is everybody really is just buying what's left over in the market to then build up a data center. For example, if the data center was going to be built for 500 megawatts, they might not be able to buy enough power for that 500 megawatt data center from the same exact OEM. And so this decision, although it's based on these short-term speed-driven decisions, it's going to affect them in the long run because it's very hard to manage that in a microgrid, manage the topic of maintenance, et cetera. So ideally, what would be done is people would take a breather and really build up based on a design, a standardized design that really manages, again, in a microgrid from on-site power into the data center, and then that would be the way you'd make a decision and move forward. So it's really built not just for securing the contract, but it's built for the future and beyond, longevity.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of longevity, when it comes to the partnership between Eaton and Siemens Energy, how is this enabling organizations to kind of future-proof their facilities so that, as you mentioned, they're kind of prepared for this, rapidly changing landscape?
Yeah. No, good, great. So obviously, as I just mentioned, ideally you do this on the microgrid, and I had already mentioned about Eaton and their equipment. So we have been working together now for just over a year and a half. So we have a point-to-point design for each module, because every data center is built out in tranches or in bays, and so that we have a design that is scalable. It is designed, again, for a data center, whether it be cloud or enterprise or up to AI. It really is built so that you can build that out into modules and then grow with not just a data center, but maybe a campus. Secondly, inside the design, of course, with the chips and the chip evolutions, when you look at the refreshes that, of course, every data center is going to want to do, the design needs to be able to handle that additional power and density and cooling requirements, and that's something that we tackle also in the design. So the goal there with what we're doing with Eaton and Siemens Energy is, if the market would slow down and not just buy in silos or buy based on speed, they would go and take a full design in a microgrid, use that as a blueprint, and then use that out into the future. So that's what we have. We're, of course, expecting the market to come to that. But today, again, for the most part, they're working in silos, but we're here to serve that piece of the market.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Jim, thank you so much for joining me, and hope you enjoy the rest of the event.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.